All right, the Washington Commanders get a flurry of good news after a huge victory. Here's that winning play. You can see it over and over. If you're new to the channel, we are Detroit Lions fans, but we have this channel dedicated to teams that just don't get the love nationally like they should. And we've talked about the Washington Commanders. We're like, yeah, this team, we've been on you from the beginning. And so to see you actually be good, double-digit wins, is awesome. Now, here's the good news. So this is good news that after the game's over, you kind of step back, and it's like, okay, what did I just witness? Here's the good news. Again, you get a flurry of it. First thing, you had 5 turnovers. You still won. We'll get back to that in just a second. The next one. This was a meaningful divisional game late into the season. That alone is awesome. But you find a way to win it. This is the game that in the past you wouldn't even been involved in. And I know, being a Lions fan, number one, you wouldn't have even been involved in a late season meaningful game. And then 2, you wouldn't win it. It's just like something would happen. Eagles, name the team that would just like, shoot. Like, well, we almost had it. You find a way to win like you have all season. You keep finding these little ways to win. I love it. You survive a first quarter barrage. The Eagles are on fire. Saquon Barkley's running. He's fast. He's faster than you think. You're just like, oh my gosh, what the heck? And you survive that, come back from that. The next good news, and I'm going to get deeper into all of this, but just rattling these off, is you have playmakers on offense. And I think that's something where you're like, wait a second. We do. We have we've got you got that Zacchaeus dude, 5 catches for 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. Terry McLaurin, 5 catches, 60 and a touchdown. Brown, 4 catches, 60 yards. And then Jahan Dotson is over with Philadelphia, no catches. Yeah, okay. But you've got playmakers. You're making plays. The other thing too, and this is just another random one, but I wanted to bring it up because it's that important, is from this game, you had no long-term injuries. Another thing, right, and that's huge because the Lions have 22 long-term injuries, and it's just like, geez. And here's the thing. The Lions have made a big deal, or we made a big deal coming into the season for the Lions, that they play a lot of indoor games, so they're on turf. You guys play your home games, of course, on natural grass. There is such a huge difference between natural grass and the turf. And so, again, this is like a far off big picture one, but half your games are on natural grass for sure. And then you play Eagles. Then you start looking at your games in your division. That's huge. You're not going to get injured as much. I really don't think you're going to get injured as much. Okay, now let's break this down a little bit more. That first quarter, 21 points, 9 first downs, 183 yards. Barkley had 109 and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. And it's just like, well, so what does that mean? It means you made adjustments. You figured out what to do. Then from there, your offense took off. The rest is history. You made plays when you needed to. You get the victory. I mean, right? Like that's what it was. The other one was, yeah. So once the Eagles lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson, which he was on the Lions last year, dude is just... And by the way, let me know in the comments. Your favorite moment from this game. Can't be the obvious last play, but I guess it could be. But like, what are some favorite moment or just unsung hero from this game that you love the way that they played? Unsung hero. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so Washington scored touchdowns on 3 of its 4 possessions after C.J. Gardner-Johnson went out. 61 yards, 87 yards, 57 yards for scores. Like we said, Philly took the ball away 5 times and had a 4th down stop. Just constantly like giving them the ball. But your defense came up big. After the first quarter, defense came up big. That was awesome. So now you look at this. I don't know. I want to say this is updated. Should be. Okay. Commanders are in. Seahawks are in trouble. Commanders are basically in now. Especially, like I said, Seahawks are kind of in trouble. at the time of this recording. We'll see what they do. But you're in. And this is a hotly contested NFC, by the way, too. So, I mean, you look at this, you've got Lions, Eagles, Vikings, all with 12 wins. So 3 of the 7 spots, just like incredible. And then you've got Packers at 10 wins. You're at 10 wins. So it's just hard to get into. It's hard to get in the playoffs, and you're going to be in. It's just crazy. If you're a Commanders fan, a Lions fan, where you've sat there for years and just try to piece it together would be the word. One player away. We're one, if we could, all right, we'll sign this guy. We got this. You guys especially had just a lot of franchise. Everyone thinks they've got a terrible owner, when you're not winning. It's like the owner's terrible. But you actually did, and it was well documented, and it was just sketchy from the get-go, and it was constantly something where you're like, man. I remember early stories with Dan Snyder. It was like, man, that can't be true. And then by the 8th time that you heard something of like, really? He mistreated his employees by, like he said he would give them Christmas bonuses but didn't. It was always something where so the point is you had no chance with him as your owner. The name change thing, I guess that wasn't that big a deal, grand scheme of things, but go through coaches. Jay Gruden, is he going to be the one to do it? No, of course not. But you find a coach. That's probably my favorite thing about this is everybody is looking for the next hot shot play caller. And shout out to the Commanders for going with a culture building type of coach. He wears his hat backwards on the sideline. And that's the culture direction of the team versus hot shot play caller. I look at Miami. It's like, do you want Mike McDaniel? Even Sean McVay. I get it, right? But even him, I don't know. There's the Kyle Shanahan's, the Sean McVays, young hot shots, and I think it works if you find the right one. But I just think the overall direction of your franchise has to be behind a leader like a Dan Campbell or Dan Quinn. Then you get the coordinators that can do their thing. Then you have a quarterback. It's not that easy, right? If it was easy, everybody would do it, but it's hard to find these guys. So another huge victory for the Commanders. Shout out to them. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. And we'll see all of you on the next one.